Today I'm going to show you through my new desk setup. It's where I sit and work for my day job, where I plan, edit and film my YouTube videos, as well as being my gaming setup. So I wanted to create a flexible space that was both productive and fun, and somewhere I actually wanted to be. Well, today I'll cover where I got each item from, how I'm using it, and what my future plans are. I've also linked everything in the description below, along with any discount codes. So if there's something you like the look of, you can check it out. With that said, let's get into it. Hi, I'm David Loving, and you're watching Loving Tech Life. On this channel, I share my love of tech and gaming with tips, tutorials, and reviews based on my experiences. Welcome. The centerpiece of my whole setup is this desk. I was in desperate need of some storage for this room to keep everything tidy and in order, and also wanted to switch from the clinical all-white desk setup I had previously to something a bit warmer and more organic that fit this wider space better. This desk is an IKEA desk hack you may have seen doing the rounds for a while now. The top is a kitchen worktop from IKEA called the IKEA Carlby worktop with a walnut veneer. This one is 6 foot or 186 centimeters wide, and it's not as deep as my previous desk at 2 feet or 63.5 centimeters, but it is much wider and better fits this space. I really love the walnut aesthetic, and it even feels a lot softer and warmer than the white table I had before. The legs of the desk are these two IKEA Alex drawers in white, and I just stuck some of these non-slip furniture grippers to the top of the drawers once I was done with setting everything up so that the top wouldn't slide around anymore. I do recommend leaving this to the very end so that you can maneuver the top in and out while you run all your cables and plug everything in. I might have gone with the black drawers if IKEA still made them, but these days the only darker colors they sell are these grey turquoise ones, which didn't fit the aesthetic, but I still really like the white ones. I still have the same Samsung 32-inch monitor from my previous desk setup. It's called the C32HG70. I use this for my day job, editing scripts for YouTube and playing games, as it's a 2K 144Hz monitor and supports 120Hz and VRR on the Xbox and PlayStation. But instead of using the stand it came with, which took up a lot of desk real estate, I went with this AVLT single 13 to 38-inch monitor arm. You just clamp this one to the desk and slot the arm in on top. As it's a VESA supported arm, it means any monitor that has 75 or 100mm VESA holes and is up to 30 kilos or 68 pounds in weight, it'll fit fine. So this is the first time I've used an arm in my setup, and it's converted me to using one all the time. I love how much space it saves on the desk and how the monitor is just floating there. It does a great job of holding the weight of this monitor and allows nice flexibility on getting it to the right position or getting access to the back for cables. I love the cable management of this arm. Considering all the devices and cables I have connected here, the cable management keeps everything super tidy. Around the back of the monitor, I've stuck an LED strip which gives me a nice ambient glow and reduces eye strain. These are usually set to white, but since they are LifeX lights, I can control them and change them to any color that I'd like, and I usually switch to an RGB vibe when I'm gaming. Speaking of devices I have in my desk setup, currently I have my work laptop, an iPad, gaming PC, a mini PC I use as a media server, and Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5. All are connected to the monitor, bar the media server, as I just remote into that one from time to time. My laptop is supplied by work, and it's what I use here while working from home most of the week. I have it connected to a USB-C hub via a right-angle USB-C extension cable that allows me to hide the hub out of sight, and the right-angle cable helps keep them neat. I can leave it tucked away or take it out for a dual monitor setup and use the camera on the laptop for meetings. This also makes it really easy to disconnect and connect while going to and from the office. I have an iPad Pro set up right beside the laptop in the same way connected to its own hub. I mainly use the iPad for editing my YouTube videos, and the hub allows me to have the keyboard and mouse connected as well as the monitor and any external hard drives. Like the laptop, I like to take this and edit videos from time to time away from my desk setup, so having a single extension cable to the hub makes this really easy. My custom built gaming PC is tucked down the side of the setup with the media server on top. I recently refreshed my PC by completely cleaning it out and putting in all new parts. There was years of dust buildup in there, and I'll make a video later on the heavy duty dust blower I used to clean the case and parts out. Then on the desk I have my Xbox Series X, and I'll often switch between that and the PS5 that's currently in the living room setup. Since they use the same power plugs, it makes it easy to swap them in and out without having to mess with the cables. I also have this black third-party PS5 case cover that I can use to give the PS5 a different look to fit in with the setup. This was actually made before Sony started making their own, and I think Sony put a stop to this company making them before they released their own official case covers. For all of my devices, I have this keyboard and mouse. I've had my keyboard and mouse for years. The keyboard is a Logitech K800. I like the low profile keys, and they have a nice tactile feedback. It uses AA rechargeable batteries, and you just plug the keyboard into USB to charge them up, which I do about every 2 weeks, which can be a little bit annoying. The mouse I use is the Logitech G602 gaming mouse, which I got from my gaming PC originally, but I also like using it for for work because of the weight and ergonomics. It uses a couple of AA batteries, but they seem to last forever. Honestly, it seems like it's at least a year between replacing them. And under that, I'm using this Grovemade felt desk pad. This is a dark grey in medium. I use one of these for a few reasons. Firstly, it helps protect the surface of the desk as I don't want to risk scratching it. Secondly, the contrast looks great against the walnut. As it's nice and soft, it provides a nice smooth surface for the mouse to glide over without any snags. My chair is pretty basic and nothing to write home about. I do plan on replacing it with something more ergonomic in the future. So every time I do voiceover audio for my videos, I do it at this desk, and this is the mic setup that I'm using. It's a Samsung Q9U, which is a USB mic that simply plugs into my setup with a USB cable. It's a really good starter mic since it has good quality sound and is relatively inexpensive. What do you think of the audio quality of today's video? The mic is attached to the Rode PSA 1 Plus, which is a more recent update to the ubiquitous Rode PSA 1. I also got a shock mount for the mic to keep the audio sounding at its best. I really like the look of this arm since it comes with a cover compared to the original PSA 1, and I don't mind the Rode branding. It's a super flexible arm that can handle a much bigger and heavier mic than this. I can have it out in front of me when I need it and fold it away when I don't. The PSA 1 is already such a well-regarded mic arm, and this PSA 1 Plus refines and improves on it in every way. I was sold on getting this after watching Tom Buck's review video over on his channel, which I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out later. I try to make a particular effort when it comes to cable management, as it can really cut down on clutter and make a huge difference to the look of your setup. I have a love-hate relationship with cables. I love that they make everything work together, but hate looking at them. If possible, I'll try to hide every single cable from view. Under the desk, I have two GKU under desk management trays, which are the perfect width to fit between the two drawers when placed side by side and almost look like one unit. This keeps everything off the ground, and it's where I run any cables from one side of the desk to the other. I keep the laptop and iPad hubs here, as well as a power strip. The only downside of these trays is they do not have a lot of height, so if you have a really tall power brick, you'll struggle to fit them in. I'm using the space behind the drawers to hide more power strips, my router and modem on one side and a small network switch on the other set of drawers. To help keep everything off the ground, I use 3M Velcro strips to mount what I can to the back of the drawers and keep them out of sight. I also use various clips to organize the cables, as well as this Velcro tape wrap to keep them tidy. Lastly, I have a lot of this plastic wrap that I have used over the years, and anywhere I see cables, I'll use it to help visually neaten them up. Overall, I think the cable management is pretty good and I'm happy with it. Aside from having your cable management dialed in, it's the desk accessories that help keep your setup clean and organized. One of my favorite accessories that's helping me keep the whole setup organized is this desk shelf system from Grovemade. This is the walnut desk shelf in large, and I think it looks great, matching the desk color really well. Having this here allows me to keep the iPad and laptop neatly tidied away, and the Grovemade medium felt pad is the perfect size to be able to slide everything underneath if I want to clear the space, which I like to do when I'm gaming. On the right hand side of the shelf, I have another one of my favorite accessories. This is the Cable Matters 4-port USB 3.0 kVM, which is a 4 USB port to 4 device USB KVM or hub. The beauty of this is that I can plug in any USB accessories and switch to using them on my laptop, iPad, gaming PC, or even the Xbox at the push of a button on the hub or on the supplied remote. I love this because it saves me from having to unplug and plug the dongles for the mouse and keyboard from one device to the next, as well as allow me to use the same headsets or mics on all these devices. I can move files from one external hard drive to another device really easily. I can even play FPS games on the Xbox using the keyboard and mouse instead of the gamepad if I prefer, all using this trusty USB KVM. For an additional bit of trickery, I have a couple of adapters plugged into the front to a cable that goes to the 2-port USB hub in my monitor. This way I can have an extra USB port as well as run the cable from my mic to the back of the monitor instead of all the way to my KVM, keeping things tidy. I also plan on getting a camera and connecting it to the back of the monitor too, so it can be used across all my devices for work meetings and possibly YouTube live streaming in the future. Next to the hub is another USB-C extension cable that goes back to the iPad hub to give me easy access to connect a USB-C external hard drive for storing and editing video. I use these Samsung T7 Shield hard drives. Also on the stand, I have a Grovemade MagSafe charger, which means I can keep my phone out of the way and on charge, but I can still glance over to it if I need to. On the other side of the shelf, I have my headset that I've been using for a few years now. It's the Rig 800 Pro. It's super comfortable and sounds great for me, and the mic sounds really good for playing online. I also love how the battery lasts for 24 hours of use before needing a charge. And the Rig 800 Pro, well, it's sitting on this Grovemade stand. It's got black leather outside and a nice piece of walnut wood in the middle. I really like the look of this and I think it fits in nicely with the setup. Then I have a snake plant here, adding a little bit of green to the setup. These are great for darker rooms or rooms that have a lot of shade, and they are known to have some nice health benefits. Now, as for the lighting in the room, it consists of 4 LifeX RGB downlights and the LifeX strip on the back of the monitor. You can control each of the downlights individually, so if you just want some or all of them on, you can do that and set them to any brightness or color. For example, while I'm on meetings, I usually have all the lights colored white and turn on all except for the one over my head so I don't have the shadows on my face during calls. You can set up scenes with the LifeX strip and downlights, which are different looks you can save into the app. I can then activate the scene with an app, a smart voice assistant, or with this handy LifeX switch on the wall where I've configured some scenes at the push of a button, like this one for work and this RGB vibe for gaming or shooting videos. Now, you might be wondering what the rest of the room looks like. I haven't really finished setting it up yet, so I'll give you a quick look, but beside the desk I have this small couch for gaming on my retro setup where I have way too many CRTs. And on the end wall I have 2 shelving units that I'll set up with things I've collected, and I'll eventually set up all my retro consoles so they're all plugged in and working. This room is actually my garage that I converted into a room on this side and some storage on the front side. I'll actually get around to doing a video on how I did it soon. What about plans for the future? There are still some things I'd like to improve in my setup. I'd really like to upgrade my monitor to an OLED one about the same size. As mentioned earlier, I really should get a new, more ergonomic chair. Instead of my laptop camera, I think a mirrorless camera would be great for meetings and possibly for live streaming on YouTube in the future. Comment below if you'd join me for live streams. I might also update my keyboard to something like the Logitech MX keys or get into custom mechanical keyboards. I also have some really nice near-field speakers from Drop on the way, but it'll be a few weeks before I get them. And possibly some art or pegboards on the walls, but I don't want it to get too cluttered. Well, that was my 2023 desk setup tour. I hope you liked it. Generally, I'm very happy with the setup already. It feels minimal and clean, yet still productive. It's a flexible space that is good for work and play. If you did enjoy today's video, you might be interested to see what my desk was like last year. So check out this video and I'll see you in the next one.